Hey everyone, welcome to day 8 of 30 Days of Sketches 2. This is actually day 8. Here's the sketch that we're using. I may have accidentally said that tomorrow's layout is day 8 on that video, so just excuse that tomorrow. I'm all mixed up. So I am so excited for this layout, you guys. This definitely one of my top favorites. I love it. I am using this beautiful cut file. Look at those florals, aren't they pretty? I'm pretty sure they're probably Paige Evans, I think. I don't know. Again, they're gifts, so I don't know exactly where they're from. Those were from Daisy Scraps, I believe. So if you really want to know, I can take her and ask her, but I'm pretty darn certain that's where it's from. And I am going to go ahead and use Dear Lizzie Stargazer. The reason why I didn't know where to go with this layout, I had some ideas, but I wasn't sure which collection to use. And I was asking some of my scrappy besties, so Christina and Daisy challenged me to use Stargazer, so I decided to go for it. I'm just going to simply go ahead and rip off these tabs. That's not the word I'm looking for. Strips, that's the word. These strips of paper. And I'm going to follow this sketch in that aspect pretty closely. Originally, I am thinking I'm going to be using all 4 of these, but in the end, I take one away, and you'll see why in a minute. But aren't those papers, they're just so pretty, and I love them all together. And I am going to be doing a layout about my son. So I was trying to pick some Boyer-ish colors from that collection. Boyer-ish, that's not even a word. And then I'm re-scrapping a layout, right? I know everyone cringes when I do this, but I just can't help it. If I'm not happy with something, I have to redo it. And this one, though the idea and concept was really fun, and it was for a series I had done last year, I wasn't happy with it. Part of my issue is that the photo of me holding Jackson does not match the tones and softness of the photo of Sean holding Jackson, and then just that photo of Jackson. So it just doesn't work. And so I just simply I'm going to take that photo of me away. It's easy enough, right? I don't have to be in everything. So now I've got these 2 photos, and I like this. I especially appreciate the fact that I am using a greenish-er color versus it's definitely more on the green side than the teal side. And Jackson has a green towel under him. That photo was taken seconds after he was born and all wrapped up. So it works really well. And now I'm going to line it all up the way it's supposed to be. I'm going to cut these in half because I am using 6x6 papers, again, trying to get them used up. And so in order to make them stretch out a little bit and look more like they're full strips from, a 12x12 paper, I just cut them in half, and it's all going to get covered up so you won't even notice. And I loved how in this sketch there are banners kind of coming from different angles, so I definitely went ahead and did that. And at this moment, again, because I'm thinking I'm using 4, I'm only going to do 2 banners, one at the bottom and one at the top. And I'm like, okay, I like this. What do I do next? I am having an issue though, because I have a gap now, because again, I'm using 6x6. And so that beautiful piece of blue paper I'm using as my base has a big gap in it, and you can really tell because I'm spacing out these strips. So I have to find a way to go about that and fix it. But while I think about that, I'm going to go ahead and cut out that beautiful strip. Isn't that beautiful? I love this collection. And then I'm going to do some mixed media. Now, I'm leaving this in just because I do plan on using this sheet of paper. I do like it, and I think it's usable, very usable. However, as I'm doing this and I go about it and I look at it compared to my actual layout, it's too much. It's too busy. And though I don't mind busyness, and I love mixed media, I wanted this to be probably a little bit more on the simpler side. So I'm not going to, but I'm leaving this in here just so you can see that it was part of my process, and sometimes I do something and it doesn't work, and it's okay. I always keep my mixed media because I know I can use it for another project down the line. But you can see here, I'm going to just put everything back on, and don't get me wrong, I totally could have made this work if I wanted to. It just wasn't giving it the tone I wanted. So I'm going to put that aside, like I said, and I redid it, and this is much simpler, and I really love that. And I'm going to go with this. So again, I'm just going to put everything back on. My whole point was for it to be very subtle and just little pops peeking through. And I had just kind of went a little too overboard with that first sheet. So that's why I'm changing it. And here's when I'm going to decide that 4 strips isn't working. I need to take one away. I've got to figure something out to fix that gap. And by taking 1 strip away, it's really going to help. And in order to do that, I can use those florals that I'm going to bring in, and I can use those and take away the yellow and bring that yellow in a different way that you'll see in just a minute. I also wanted to add a little bit more layers with my photos, so I isn't this teal that I definitely would not have used this pattern paper any other way. It looks like a handkerchief to me, and I don't know, I wouldn't use it. And I like it though as a border. And then I had this strip of pink that I used from a different one, but it kind of reads as red on all of this, and that's just going to be the perfect spot to journal. So I'm really happy with that. I'm going to get this all taped down, add some fun foam to my photo so it's popped up a little bit, and then play with these beautiful cut files. So again, I took away that yellow strip. So now that gap isn't quite so obvious, at least to me. And like I said, to bring in that yellow, because I love this yellow piece of pattern paper, probably my favorite piece of pattern paper in this whole collection. So I'm just going to use them as the inside of the floral. I thought that was really fun and playful. I'm not going to do anything to these flowers. I'm leaving them just on the white cardstock that they're on. I'm not backing the leaf part to them or anything like that. I just used the yellow to be the inside of the florals, and I absolutely love it. I think it's fun and a little whimsy and kind of perfect for a baby layout. And it's kind of funny to have flowers on a boy layout, but I'm just going with it. I think it works, and I love it. I love this layout. And then I am going to title this Waiting to Go Home, because that's what these photos are. We had Jackson in the morning, I think. Yeah, he was a morning baby. Nora was my evening baby. And so by the end, like that night, we were like, well, we can go home now. And you have to stay in the hospital for 24 hours. You can't just go home. And if you have to have a C-section, which thankfully I didn't, you have to stay even longer. So, that would suck. But yeah, he was healthy. Everything was fine. And we were just like sitting around waiting for ourselves to be released. And so I just kind of talking about that and how excited we were to get home with him and all of that fun stuff. And then to do my final embellishments, I definitely don't do a lot because I don't think it needs it, but I do add a couple flares, and I'm bringing in some stuff from my original layout back onto this one because I love to reuse the things that I had used on my first original layout. Who wants to waste stuff? So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I think about fussy cutting out these trees and adding them into it as well, but it gets a little too busy and too much, so I'm not going to do that. It's just not needed. So that's going to get edited out. Sometimes you have to stop and look at things and just edit. I don't always do that, but I did on this one. I realized it wasn't going to work. So I'm loving that. I am going to use this cut apart. However, I was determined to use it in one way or another, and it just says count your stars. And so that's going to go right by one of the florals. And then I do put, you can see I'm missing the word to go. So it's waiting to go, and I handwrite the word to go because I didn't need an alpha for that. And then just a tiny bit of journaling goes underneath, I believe, is where I put my journaling. And that's just it. It's really easy, right? A basic layout, pretty simple. I love it. It's so pretty and beautiful, and I love it. So be sure to go ahead and check out Sarah Scrapp's take because it's Monday, so she's joining us again today. And Lisa's take, I'm sure it's beautiful as always, all of her stuff has been fantastic, and I hope you have been enjoying this. Remember, if you would like to play along, you can just tag me in any form of social media you're using, or use the hashtag 30DSCBL2. There's a look at the sketch one more time and my finished layout. Bye!